Today I've got a guest, a very special guest that I'm really excited about speaking with. A young man who he's only been in the industry for really a few years. He's a top producer, like I'm pretty sure right out the gate he was, and he's already got his own agency. The one thing I will say that sticks out about him and how I personally know him is how on his YouTube channel he makes live presentations. So if you go to his YouTube channel, you'll actually be able to see him make a live presentation and close a sale. Very nice. So with that being said, Peter Roberts, thank you for joining me, buddy.
Welcome. Thanks, Doug, for having me. Hopefully
Awesome.
here to bring some value and help some agents out.
I can't see how it could go any other way. Absolutely. Just kind of a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the insurance industry? What made you decide to do that? Were you recruited? I always got to ask it that way.
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it. I got kind of lucky. Started like originally with Northwestern Mutual for a summer internship when I was like a sophomore in college. And then I happened to get my license and I left the industry. I pursued my lawn care business. I ended up selling my lawn care business to a tree removal company. And then I remember just listening to a podcast while I was driving my tree removal vehicle, and I heard about like, hey, you can leave the rat race, and then I ended up clicking, getting started, and somehow found myself into a lovely MLM type of insurance company that I know about,
Of
and
course.
just had to figure it out from there.
Yeah, that was my next. I was going to ask, did you start as an independent or a captive? So, obviously, I guess, with the MLMs, it's like a variation of an independent. It's like you're not really a true independent agent. So I guess, when you got into it, was the company good for you, or was it like one of those, immediate regrets? What did I get myself into? Life insurance agents. If you'd like 20 life insurance appointments on your calendar every single day, all set by the clients themselves, who actually expect to speak with you about burial life insurance, or if you'd like a copy of the free new agent remote sales file, lots of killer sales materials, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com or click on the link below in the description.
Yeah, that's a good question. I didn't really know until I picked my head up after like 5 or 6 months. What they sold me was a lot different than what I got. I thought it was just come in, you get leads, and you just close deals. So it took me some time to figure it out that what I was truly in wasn't what was promised, and that's okay. It's not their fault. It's mine. I didn't do enough research. So it was a lot harder than what I thought. And at the time, I made some sales, and then I actually quit my high ticket tree removal position, and then I just got started with life insurance, and I just had to figure it out. It was coming to find out a company where they wanted me to recruit people. I just wasn't really willing to do that, and it was a big push, but I wanted to make sure I could figure it out before I ever trained someone else to do it. So finally, after like 7, 8 months, I realized like the ethics and the way that they do things don't align well with me, and I decided to take a different route.
I got it. I get
Yeah.
you. So I know they don't release, the MLMs, they don't like to just nilly-willy sign releases. Hey, so good luck to the next place. I know it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So when you left them and you went to the next place, I guess what I'm trying to get at is how many times did you have to move contracts to be where you're at today?
But yeah, it was really just that one time. I had to wait out a lot of releases. I got started with a company that, they use this the main typical carriers, but there was also a niche of carriers that I'd never had, like, Royal or like AMAM, I never really used. So a lot of the carriers, once I switched, I had to naturally release. So it was really one major change that I had to go through, which was unfortunate, but I just had to find a way through it. And my business partner actually had the carriers that we were transitioning over to, so I just got put under him for a little bit, so I could just get access to the carriers quicker.
Okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
And you figured a little bit of a workaround. Very cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I know, I know your production, is very high. So once you made that move, how long before the production really got to where, where we were writing business at a high level, and what kind of, maybe talk about the production? How much business were you writing?
Yeah, sure. So my first 14 days as an agent, I didn't sell any premium. So I got started, I was investing money in these old leads. I didn't make any sales. My first month, I maybe made 2 or 3 sales. Didn't know what I was doing. I was trained to get someone social in the first 30 seconds of the phone call, so that's probably why I didn't make sales. Looking back, first 3 months did do that well. I started to do like 20, 30,000. My best month was October of 2022 or 2021, whenever I got started. My best month was 87,000 of premium. My first year, I did over 550,000 of business. Was my first year in production, and from there, I decided to take a change. There was a lot of I talk about this on my channel a lot. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors when it comes to that. I wasn't told to sell the right way, so I experienced a lot of chargebacks. I experienced a lot of not issue business. So I was comfortably willing to share, and I share on my YouTube. I did over $160,000 is what I actually made as an agent my first year, like actual take home. So it wasn't just this was what I paid my taxes on. So I was able to make well over six figures my first year as an agent, but I had to deal with a lot of nightmares to get there.
Sounds familiar. I mean, we all have
Yeah.
to, hit the roadblocks. We all have to hit the potholes. And I mean, I've got a story that's for another day.
Sure.
So I get it, man. I think most of us have to, we have to move the contracts a few times before we find home, before we
Right.
find that place, where we're really happy and where it works. So
Hmm.
you started producing. It sounds like you kind of figured things out. You're producing at a high level, and then you realize, wait, I got to change the way I'm selling.
Yeah.
How long did it take from, I guess, when you moved your contracts and you started with the second, the second partner before you said, hey, I'm going to start my agency. I want to do this.
Yeah. Was that like a turning block? Probably like month 9 as a new agent. I kind of realized where this business was going, and I knew that the company that I was with didn't have the ethics. And I remember speaking to like the owner, which is a large social media guy, and I was like, "Hey, I want to keep doing this, but I actually worry about like making sure that my agents can feed their families." And that stemmed a conversation response that said, "Hey, don't worry about feeding other people's families, just worry about yourself." And in that moment, I knew like, hey, this is the wrong company for me, because if I can't feel good about what I'm doing, then I probably shouldn't do it. So I was actually going to transition out of the insurance industry until I got a DM from my business partner at the time. I DM'd, I don't know how we connected. We aligned well on the same values. He kind of pitched his vision of like, hey, I have great leads. I have a system in place. I plugged in into his system. I did well. I was selling 40,000 a month consistently with his system. And we were like, hey, come together and let's do this thing. Let's try to change the industries. Within my first 9 to 10 months, we were getting ready to launch this business. And then within the year, I packed up my suitcase from Maryland and I moved to Arizona just to start this business with just an idea. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, that sounds like, so what maybe you may not realize is that the time frame, you're doing all this within a couple of years.
Hmm.
Most people, I mean, you speak with agents every day just like me. Most agents will tell you, yeah, I've been doing this for years and years, and they still haven't found, that thing that works for them.
Yeah.
So the fact that you were able to do it so fast is amazing. Look, I was recruited into the industry as a Hartford agent. I did that for years. I didn't start my agency until a good 5 years into it. That was when I recruited my very first agent.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, it took a while for me to do it. I really wasn't sure that was the route I wanted to go, but it
Sure.
seemed like for my personality, it made sense.
Yeah.
That was kind of the way I saw it. So,
Neat.
I always like to ask, so you've had the agency now for years, and
Hmm.
what is it that you feel that you have at your agency that's maybe
Hmm.
that one thing that's the better, that maybe sticks out the most as to why an agent would want to come and work with you?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think there's a lot of great companies out there. When it comes to better, I'm not necessarily sure if ours is better. It's a different opportunity. I ran a study that the average agent, in a broker model typically makes around $3,000 to $5,000. Yet the industry promises you'll make, $20,000. You'll never have to work from home, and that's not the case. Most agents actually don't make a lot of money, and I think a lot of agents end up in worse positions after getting their license than better. And that's kind of where we found market fit for a company like Legacy Family Life, where I guess makes us different is that we're willing to take on the risk. I think when it comes to what makes us better is that we provide salaries, we provide bonuses, we provide all the systems, we give you all the lead generation. So we're directly incentivized for our agent's success. So if I'm paying someone a salary to be here, I can't give them bad training. I can't give them bad leads. I can't give them bad systems. I'm incentivized to make them successful, and I'm willing to do that because I'm confident in our systems. So I think that would be the only variable I think makes it different is when you're mass recruiting, you don't really care about someone's success because you don't really need to. And it's kind of like figure it out. If they don't, so be it. But when you're spending thousands of dollars a day for someone to be here, you have to make them successful.
I love that. Wow. Okay. So that does, yeah, that is, so that whole description is different. You know, with most agencies, they do a free lead program where it's a lower commission and they give you the age leads and they do it that way.
Mhm.
Or you're independent and you're paying top dollar for leads. So that's pretty nice. The way you do it,
Mhm.
your agents are getting a guaranteed salary,
Mhm.
and depending on how they do, they get bonuses. Very cool. Very cool. That is really unique, man. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm asking these questions. I didn't know that's how you did it. So
Yeah.
very impressive once again.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
no risk. The agents have no risk, which is interesting. Like they have zero chargebacks. No one has ever paid a chargeback in my agency.
beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something to think about, guys, if you're those of you watching. So I'm assuming your lead program, your partner,
Sure.
he's running an advertising funnel. Am I correct? Is that basically what it is?
Yeah, we have a marketing team that does it. Yep.
Okay, you got a market team. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So got because I mean that's what's popular. That's to me where you get your better ROI lead. That's what we do. That's what a lot of independent agents do. They run their
Mhm.
own marketing. I think that's difficult. So the
Sure.
fact that you've kind of got all of it. You've got the three-legged stool. You've got those three things you absolutely must have. You've got the products, the training, the system, and then a lot more. So very cool. All right, I'm curious. I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you something. I don't know if yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm going to ask you. So
Sure.
with the way you guys do your advertising,
Uh,
are you using the Facebook lead form or are you sending them to your landing page the way you do it?
yeah, I honestly have no control over the marketing. I think what they do is they just do the lead form. I know that it comes with like the name and the beneficiary is typically what we get.
Okay.
It's a really good question. I
Okay.
know they click on it. I see the ads. We don't market to like free government programs, things like that.
Right.
No, government releases things. I think that's a misconception, but we typically just get a basic low barrier to entry, and then we rather have more volume than like an expense. We want more volume so that we can work more leads quicker.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so
When
interesting. You're not sure.
when
I've run
I
my own, I've always, years ago, I generated my own Facebook leads for years. And so now I've
yeah
got my marketing team. Basically, we take the agents off of Facebook and send them
yeah
to the landing page. We find that's more effective.
oh interesting
Okay. So let's talk about an independent agent. You've been doing this long enough. You've seen different types of leads in different companies. You've got an independent agent. What do you feel about them generating their own leads and maybe even buying like a program that runs Facebook and Instagram ads? How do you feel
Mhm.
about that? Or do you feel like, in many
Yeah.
cases they're just better off buying leads?
Yeah, I'll share what I did. I mean, I just went right to vending for when I first got started because I didn't have time to figure out the skill of market. I didn't even know how to run a Facebook ad. I'm still not good at it. I don't. I just see the money that comes out of the account. I don't really even know how to run a Facebook ad really right now with how it changes. So when I'm first getting started, I just got leads from the common. I went to common leads and I didn't learn the skill of marketing until I could sell everyone. So until I could sell a new lead or I could sell a 3-month-old lead, then I would feel confident in allocating money because with any new skill, it's going to cost money. And I think I take the opposite approach of a marketer that marketing generates sales. I think that if you give me an assurance lead that I bought, I could probably sell someone life insurance. And that's just the skill that I developed. So I can always lean on my sales skill first. I think when you have a marketing system in place, it does make it easier. Metrics change, your contact to close rate, go up. Your dials per presentation will go down. Your presentation to sales rate, because you can control that a little bit. So I think there's a lot of value in there, but it also takes money. My business partner, he spent $30,000 just to figure out marketing the way that he does. And I don't know if a lot of people have that because it takes time to develop that skill. And if I would have started going after sales and generating leads, I would have failed. But I needed money to keep the thing going, and I just knew I just had to sell. So I think that's cool, but I think anybody can make 5 to 10 grand a month if they just buy leads from the internet, learn how to save the money, and then invest it. So it's a great skill, but I think both could work.
Agreed. I
Yeah.
think so. My experience was when we first started using our ad funnel, we would actually set it up for our agents and teach them
Sure.
how to run it.
Okay.
And even doing that, they struggled with it. So I feel
Mhm.
like that's a fail in itself. And with many people, like you got to be really good with
Mhm.
technology to be able to run even one of the done for you systems, just
Yeah.
because there's so much involved. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot of
agree.
work. The only thing I look at is like sometimes I'll help with like creating the ad, but after I create it, I just send it to the team and they post it. They do all the editing, they do all the budget allocation, the targeting. Like that's a whole different skill. That could take 20 hours a week just to manage.
Absolutely, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. They're
Hmm.
all day long. They're taking a look at the ads, making sure everything's running right. They're looking at the comments because
Yeah,
the clients do make interesting comments on those ads,
they sure do.
and they'll accuse you of stuff that's not real. It's just kind of, they love to get into the fake news, and the next thing you know, they're typing something on your ad that makes no sense, and it
Yeah,
turns away other people that are watching
absolutely.
the ad that are potential buyers. All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the successful agent
Mhm.
versus maybe a more struggling agent. What do
Okay.
you feel like, maybe what's a couple of things that you feel like that the successful agents are doing that the struggling agents just aren't
Mhm.
able to do or grasp?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think anybody can learn the skill of this over enough time. I had an agent who never sold life insurance. His first year, he sold $500,000. But what came to mind when you said that was the obsession of just getting better. Like a truly great agent is going to be obsessed. They're not going to have any backup plans. They're going to do whatever it takes to be successful, and that could be showing up at 6 a.m. and staying till 8 o'clock at night. It's someone who's obsessed at looking at their numbers. They're going to review their calls every single day. They're going to ask their manager for help. They're going to work every Saturday, and they're going to live on the dialer. And most people want to make the income, but aren't willing to do the work. So I think it just comes down to someone's willingness to actually be obsessed and not have balance in their life and want to just get better.
Good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Interesting perspective too. All right. So what do you think are like the main reasons for agent failures, like
Uh-huh.
agents that failed when they come to a good agency like yours?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of agents are not successful. I think it comes down to truly the amount of training that's required to make someone successful. Like the amount of training that someone takes to be successful is more than just a 20-minute phone call. It's hours every single day. It's calls being reviewed every single day, and it's like a massive amount of hand holding. There will be a time when you learn the skill, but we have one trainer that typically just trains someone for at least, they train 3 hours a day with one person typically. Like you need a lot of training, hands down. You have to have the most amount of training. And then you obviously have to, I don't know, you don't even need really good systems because if you have a leads and a phone, like a phone, you can call people, but if you don't know how to sell them, I really think this is a two business, is a recruiting and training business. It's how can you take someone who's selling 4 policies a month at this agency that has all the character traits, give them the same stuff. Everyone's running ads, everyone's has the same product, it's all the same stuff, but who has the best training to get them there? And there's been multiple agents that have worked in other companies where they're like, man, I'm only selling 8 policies a month. I train them, our team trains them, and then they go selling 40,000 the next month. And nothing really changed.
I love it. And I agree 100%. It is the training, the training, the training. Very smart. All right. Let's pretend you know what you know now.
Mhm.
You never sold life insurance though, and you just got your license.
Yeah.
If you had to start over again, what would you do first as soon as you get that license?
Yeah, if I just got my license, knowing what I know now. Now, it depends. I'm an entrepreneur, so I would want to find the place that's going to support me the best, that's going to allow me to build a business. I know that I'm not sure, so I'd have self-awareness, like, hey, I want to build a business. I'll be honest, like a free lead program, like, or working at one of those might not be best for me because I want to take on the risk. I want to take on all that. It depends on where someone's at with their risk tolerance,
It's
but
good.
if it's a matter of like getting started, I remember when I first got started, I had so many questions. Like, am I going after the right leads? Am I have the right products? Do I have the right scripting? I would find whoever I think is the most successful, and I would just ask them, "Hey, can you show me what you do?" And like truly show me everything because I want to learn. I had to figure it all out for like 6 months, and it was really painful. 8 months, and still figuring it out. But I think the fastest way to beat that curve is to go to that person and say, "Hey, just show me what I need to do. You can give me the lowest contract possible. Just teach me what you're doing, and then I'll figure it out." So I would be less hungry on what my contract is, rather than I want to learn the skills. Because once you have the skills, you can just make anything work. And that's all I would focus on is how can I learn from people that I want to be like so that I can hopefully acquire the skills that they have.
It's all about, yeah, I get it. It is about training. It's about learning how to do it the right way. I mean, you even said, you were producing, but you weren't quite doing it the right way, and you ended up with a lot of chargebacks when you first started.
Yeah.
So,
I had no one to
yeah,
turn to too, so like I'm trying to figure out what's going on, but no one could give me answers, and that's very painful and it's very scary. But if I have someone that has been there before, it would help me sleep better at night for sure.
okay. All right. Last
Yeah,
question.
sure.
You're speaking with a new agent who wants to be an independent agent.
hmm
What advice would you give to them so that they could have better results faster and basically a higher chance of success?
If they want better results faster, well, do they have any experience or no in the industry?
Okay. Yeah. Nope. They're
Okay.
a new insurance agent.
Yeah, I would say speed is scary. I would say develop the goods, like I would say have a long-term view of the industry. So I would say this is not a get rich quick industry. Be willing to suffer for a long time to make this work. Be willing to tell your friends and family that you have to figure out this business and it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of resources, that I might have to say no to things. I think just the reality of this business would be what I would share with them, which is if you want to be successful, if you look at my speed, you talked about how I grew so fast, is that I had to make a lot of sacrifices. And all I would say is, are you willing to pay the price? And that price could be moving away from your family. That could be, dating someone or not going out on the weekends and showing up every morning and staying till Saturdays. Like, if you're willing to pay that price, then this is going to be an awesome business if you're going to be a business owner. But if you want to be successful and think you can do it within 10 to 12 hours a day, like 10 to 12 hours a week, and you're going to sit back on a beach, make all this money, that this passive income engine is going to feed you, you're just being lied to. This is one of the hardest business. I think it's very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
But if you can figure it out, it will feed you for the rest of your life. And I think it's a great business, but it's painful, you know.
It is. It's about, and you said it's
Mhm.
sacrifice. You've got to be prepared to sacrifice. Guys, I failed multiple times. Once I
Mhm.
got licensed and started, before like different lights came on, before I actually started seeing, potentially there may be something there for me in this
Yeah.
industry. So there were bumps, man.
Yeah. It's hard.
Excellent. Peter, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Now, an agent wants to reach you.
hmm
Hey, I want to talk to Peter Roberts and see if
Sure.
I'm a fit for his agency. What's the best way for him to go about doing that, or her?
Yeah, maybe at the description you can link my YouTube channel, Peter Roberts. Look up Peter Roberts Insurance. You can just check me out. And then there's an Instagram that's probably attached. Just shoot me a DM. My email's also my first name, Peter at legacyfamilylife.com. If there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. I'm here to help.
Beautiful. Love it,
Yeah.
man. Peter, thanks again. Good stuff, man. I will be in touch, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it.